The Jake Asman Show will begin shortly. Thanks to all these great Patreon members who help support the show. Get your super chats ready. Jake will be here in just a moment. If you love the New York Jets, this is the place to be. And now, the Jake Asman Show.
A CBS sports analyst has a take about the Jets that is going to fire you up. We'll play that. Plus, Ian from Jet Central is going to join us. It's the Jake Asman Show on a Football Friday. Let's hit it and get it started. Man, our Jets are primed to win another offseason, baby. We bleed Jets green each and every day. Will the playoff drought finally end? Kings of the offseason, baby. This is what we do. At least we have Garrett Wilson. We have Breece Hall. Please subscribe and hit the like button below. Super chat, baby. Cut the line. We have Sauce Gardner. We have Quinn Williams. Prepare to be underdogs. Now it's time to talk all things New York Jets. It's the Jake Asman Show. Here we go, here on a Friday. Welcome in, everybody. Stop what you're doing and make sure that you like this video. Share it with your friends. Put it in your Jet Facebook group. Spread the word. We talk Jets each and every day. If you want to join our private Discord, get your name added to the intro. Get bonus shows every month that are not on YouTube. 20% off all merch items and plenty of other perks. Join the Patreon, patreon.com/Jake Asman Show. When you join the Patreon for the year, not only do you save 15%, but you also get 10 raffle tickets immediately applied in our upcoming weekly raffle. With that said, let's talk some Jets. Ian from Jet Central will join us in about 20 minutes or so if you're watching live. So we'll bring him on and get his thoughts on the state of the Jets. But I want to start with some interesting comments from a good friend of the show, former Jet defensive lineman, now with CBS Sports HQ, Leisure Douzable, our guy Leger. He was on CBS and he was asked for the outlook on the New York Jets, and a couple pieces of audio I want to play for you guys. First, here is Leger talking about Aaron Glenn and his thoughts on what AG has done so far.
Haley, it's been refreshing to see how the new look Jets and Aaron Glenn have shown themselves this offseason. You talked about what he said. He wants to move in silence. And for the longest time, that's been the opposite of what the Jets have been. We've heard so many leaks come out of there, so much noise coming out of there, but we haven't heard anything about the Jets this offseason. Matter of fact, they have two prominent players that are due for contract extensions, and Sauce Gardner and Garrett Wilson. Both of those guys showed up in the offseason where we've seen so many other players hold out because they want their bags that they deservingly need to get. But that shows you the culture that Aaron Glenn is coming with. And that's why I thought this was a home run hire, because he's been in that building. People always talk about Revis Island. I was teammates with Darrelle Revis. But before Darrelle Revis, the corner that everybody looked up to when it comes to the New York Jets was Aaron Glenn. Matter of fact, he has a big picture as soon as you walk in on the business side. So I loved how he's been able to move in silence, no nonsense attitude, but I love that there's been a culture shift. Things aren't leaking out of that Jets locker.
So far, so good. I do agree with him. Now, the thing with Glenn that I think everyone loves is the fact that he was, of course, a former player, and not just, as you heard, Leger talk about there, not just a guy who had a career in the NFL, but I mean, before Darrelle Revis, Aaron Glenn was probably the best cornerback in the history of the Jets. You could certainly make that argument. So I 100% love the fact that Glenn understands, the history of the New York Jets. He played for them. He got his professional coaching / scouting career started with them, right? He became a scout. Parcells gave him the recommendation of starting at the ground level and working your way up and understanding how to do everything if you want to be a head coach someday, understanding the front office side of it. So I like all that about Glenn. And once again, the fact that he's been in this media market, I think matters. And he's got the right mentality, the right temperament to handle it. So I agree. But like anything else, he's a first-time head coach. And until you're actually in that chair having to make decisions, we just truly don't know how it will pan out. I think the early signs are positive. I don't think the pressure of being in New York is going to get him. It will come down to, like a lot of teams, who your quarterback is long term. maybe they could get a good year out of Justin Fields. We'll find out. But really, they got a mulligan this year at that position. If Fields is not the guy, they're going to pivot and in all likelihood use their first-round pick on a quarterback in the draft next year. And then the clock will really start on Glenn and Muji once you make that investment in the quarterback. It's, all right, you had a year to set the foundation. Now you get to pick your quarterback. You get a year at that quarterback, see where you're at. Probably got to make the playoffs by the third year or you're gone. Like, that's the NFL. You get the grace period in year one, and Glenn can have a big impact in year one. He could go out there and get this team to play disciplined football, be better against teams in their own division, get better as the year goes on. We could see the development of maybe some of the younger players on this team, especially the offensive side of the ball, right? That was a huge issue with the previous regime. We saw defensive players get better. We didn't see offensive players get better. We just didn't. Right? Garrett Wilson and Breece Hall don't count. These guys were top picks for a reason. Right? Garrett Wilson was picked 10. Like, you or I could have made that pick. He was always going to be a really good football player. That's why he's the 10th pick in the draft. That's how it's supposed to be. Breece, you traded up for, right? They didn't hit on enough offensive development. They didn't. Defensively, it's a different story, but you got to coach the whole team, and that's what Glenn has been preaching from before he even was a head coach. He was asked about it in Detroit, and he said, I'm a football coach. I know offense and defense. He's made that clear, and I like that. But that to me is a huge thing, right? It's beyond just Fields. How does Mason Taylor look in year one? Do they get anything from Arian Smith? Is Membu going to come in and be seamless, right? Did he hire a good offensive line coach? See, development is not only just on the head coach, it's on the coaches that he hires. That was a huge issue with Saleh. He hired bad offensive coaches. Keith Carter having a job for as long as he did, despite all the noise around him, it was unacceptable. And it hurt the Jets. They couldn't run. That's what Aaron Rodgers was referencing in those comments to Mark Schlereth from last year that resurfaced. How bad their scheme was. How they couldn't block it. Go listen to Brian Baldinger on my show at Radio Row at the Super Bowl this past year. He called it high school level, what they were running. Pathetic. And Baldy played offensive line in the NFL. He understands that stuff. So did Glenn hire a good O-line coach? Yeah, of course, Engstrand is someone we're going to talk about. That's the biggest hire Glenn made. You are entrusting Tanner Engstrand to be your OC. And when you're a defensive-minded coach, you come from that side of the ball, your OC hire is arguably your most important hire. So did he get it right with Tanner Engstrand? We don't necessarily know all that in 1 year, but there'll be some signs. Are we going to see development? Are we going to see some guys go out there and be put in spots to have success? Guys will be schemed open. That's the stuff you want to see ultimately. Ladies and gentlemen, I mentioned Tanner Engstrand. Let's hear from Douzable. He was asked about the two most important people that factor in the Jets' success in 2025.
I think the combination of the two will determine the success of offense. Obviously, the quarterback and the offensive coordinator. And we look at it, Justin Fields, you just saw the graphic up there. His first couple of years, 2.8% turnover-worthy plays, right? When he got to Pittsburgh last year, he took that all the way down to 0.8. Now, the biggest thing with Justin Fields was consistency in the throwing game, because when you look at it, when he was the starter for those first 6 games for the Pittsburgh Steelers, the Steelers only averaged around 20 points a game. Their defense was able to keep them in games. He missed on some big-time throws, and that's why Mike Tomlin ultimately went to Russell Wilson to open up the passing game. So this is a big opportunity for Justin Fields because he's only 26 years old, Haley. He still has an opportunity to be the franchise quarterback for the New York Jets. And I put Tanner Engstrand in there because he was a passing game coordinator with the Detroit Lions, but he has never called plays in the NFL. He called them in college at San Diego. He called them in the XFL with the DC Defenders. But this will be his first opportunity calling plays by himself, not under the tutelage of Ben Johnson. So that marriage is going to be very vitally important to the New York Jets to have some success. And I talked about Tanner Engstrand and the pass game coordinator from Detroit. What I want to know is how is he going to be inventive in the run game, because that is what's really plagued this Jets offense the last couple of years.
Bingo. He's spot on. They got to be able to run the football. They got to be able to lead the league in rushing attempts. Lead the league in rushing. That should be the goal. I don't know if they could do that, but they should be close. They should be in the top 5. You have Justin Fields at quarterback. You have Breece Hall, Braylon Allen, and Isaiah Davis in your backfield. You use your last 2 first-round picks, top 11 picks on offensive tackles. You used a high second-round pick 2 years ago on your center. You used a first-round pick on your right guard. One of the better players on your team last year was your left guard. This offensive line needs to be a strength. They need to be coached properly. That's not just on Angstren. You heard me highlight the offensive line coach, Steve Hayden. He's never been a full-time O-line coach. He comes over from Detroit where he was the tight ends coach. Before that, he was the assistant offensive line coach with the Cardinals several years ago. So he's coached offensive linemen, but not as the full-time head coach of that unit. So let's see. Because a lot of Glenn's success, once again, is not just him. It's the coaches he hired. And I keep going back to it because I think it's so important. Your staff matters. The last time the Jets won 12 games, the only time, ever go back and look at the 1998 New York Jets coaching staff? Look at the amount of future head coaches that were on that staff. Forget just Belichick. Really, it's insane. Parcells hired unbelievable coaching staffs. It's funny, the Belichick tree was terrible, but the Parcells tree is still being felt today. A la Aaron Glenn, who, well, never coached under Parcells, certainly played under him. So that tree is still being felt today, and hopefully years from now we talk about Aaron Glenn's coaching tree. Tanner Engstrand, he does such a good job, someone actually wants to hire him away. Remember, a couple of years ago, Mike LaFleur, he's going to do too good, and then we're going to lose him. It's a good problem to have. Let's cross that bridge if we actually get to do it. Wouldn't that be nice? Because I'll tell you what, if we're going to lose Tanner Engstrand, you're probably not losing him unless the Jets have at least a playoff season with them as their OC. So I think we'd all trade ending this playoff drought for losing a good OC. And we'd hope that Glenn would be able to hire another good OC. Mike Vrabel had to do it twice. They figured it out. Good teams could figure it out. So ultimately, we will see with Glenn, but I like the early returns, but it goes back to a lot of what we've been saying. Here's the last clip I want to play from Leger Douzable. But first, it's Friday, and yesterday was Chad Pennington's birthday. Chad Pennington, 49 years old. Can you believe it? The first jersey I ever owned was a Chad Pennington jersey. He came on our show at the NFL Combine this year for an awesome interview. Check that out on the channel if you guys want to go back and watch that. So in honor of Chad's birthday, we're going to give away a signed Chad Pennington helmet at the end of the show. So gift a channel membership to be eligible, and we will pick one lucky winner at the end. And if you don't win, have no fear, because on Monday, we're going to do our weekly Asmaniac raffle, and you have a chance to win a bunch of signed items, such as a signed Aaron Glenn jersey, a signed Justin Fields jersey, and a signed Sauce Gardner jersey. So chance to win a Chad helmet on this show and more prizes on Monday if you don't win. Ladies and gentlemen, I need everyone to call in and earn a ticket and gift away if you could do it, because Patriots 12, 6 rings, for whatever stupid reason, is in the raffle again. He gifted a membership, so we need to make sure that he doesn't win. So more Jet fans in the raffle, the better. But hey, rules are rules. 6 rings, you're in. Rick Kent in for 5. Thank God we have memberships flying off the shelves. Addie out in LA dropping a 5 spot of channel memberships. And who else but our guy, Frank P., who won a Keyshawn Johnson jersey on the show the other day. He is in the raffle for 10. Thank you to the 3 who just gifted. Appreciate all of you. And this will be a really fun raffle at the end of the show.
We are mama way.
Yeah, baby. Sing along. It's a football Friday, even though I'm wearing Islander gear because the NHL draft is tonight and the Islanders have the first pick. Real quick, let me shout out the people who got memberships. Jamil Hayward, King of Kings, Papa Jet, JV Bronx, all received memberships there from the great Rick Kent. Addison gifting 5, Sean Cora, Stephen NYC, Sean Wilson, The Farrell, Kyle McLeod receiving memberships there. And then finally, Frank P. with the 10 spot, earning 10 raffle tickets. Eric Barty, Bang Mateo, ISURB for L. King Lowski, the King. South End Auto Detailing, Friday Jones, Antonio Amoroso, Backport Sports, Gary Poppy, all receiving memberships there from our generous listeners. All right, on that note, I mentioned I had one more clip. This was the prediction from Douzable on the New York Jets, and I think every Jet fan would immediately sign up for this.
Leger still an improvement, but
Yeah.
you see them going 9-8.
Yeah, I'm going to say this is going to be a surprise team. And you see the graphic right there. I think the tell of the story, Haley, is weeks 14 through 18. And I say that because you have the Dolphins, Jaguars, Saints, Patriots. Essentially, all of those teams are kind of in a rebuild.
Yeah.
Right? So the Jets can go on a run right there. And then week 18, you talked about it. You threw a shot at my Jets in the beginning saying the Bills are by far the best team, which is true in this division.
Tell me
I'll
I'm
be
wrong.
honest, it's true in this division. They could be resting all their starters in week 18. So you got to think
Fair.
the Jets could go on a real run weeks 14 through 18 and make a run at potentially a wild card at 9-8. Aaron Glenn talked about the culture, and for him, that starts with the players. He's trying to change the culture there. They have a real opportunity to change things around in New York. I have them going 9-8 this year.
9-8. Where do we sign for that? More wins than the Jets have had in a decade. Right? The last time the New York Jets won at least 9 games was the 2015 Fitzpatrick year. They haven't won more than 7 since that year. It's how pathetic it has been rooting for this team. But look, he believes they're going to be a surprise team. There's a path to it. There's surprise teams every year in the NFL. That's why it's mind-boggling that it has been this long. Like, by accident, the Jets haven't stumbled upon a 9-7 season or 9-8 now with the extra game. You know, it's crazy. Daniel Jones won a playoff game a couple of years ago. He stinks. Giant fans are very split on Brian Dable. He won a playoff game a couple of years ago. It happened. So you could be a surprise team if you're well coached. You are very good on special teams, because if you're going to be the type of team we think the Jets are, you're not going to like just outscore people and have this prolific passing attack, right? You're going to have to grind out wins, which you could do with the defense the Jets, I believe, have talent. And you could do if you're well coached, right? If you have a real offensive attack where you run the football, if you go out there and then you win along the margins, your kicker doesn't cost you any games. Your punter doesn't cost you any games. A lot of times in the NFL, it's about not losing the game. It's letting the other team lose. You don't even need to win. You just need to not lose at times. You know what I mean? Like, don't beat yourself. Well-coached teams, they don't beat themselves. That's how Mike Tomlin, with bad quarterback play, could still have a winning record. Now, we can't advance far in the playoffs. You're kind of stuck in quarterback purgatory, which brings them to, trying Russell Wilson for a year. Now Aaron Rodgers, right? But we'll take that. We'll worry about that down the line, right? Let's get out of the hellhole that the franchise is in. Let's reestablish ourselves. That's what the Knicks did in their build. Thibodeau came in, instant credibility. They made the playoffs that first year. They lost in the first round, fine, but they got better from there. They built from there, and they changed the roster a lot from that first year. And that will happen with the Jets in an ideal world. The roster will get better. You have your core players. Sauce, Garrett, we believe will be signed and a part of that. And then you build. But that's what you got to do. You have to get out of the gutter first. And as far as the schedule, look, surviving the first half of the schedule is something we've talked about on this show. On paper, it feels a lot more difficult in the first half of the season than it does the second half. I'm always weary, though, since we've done this exercise the last couple of years, of just reminding people this is how it looks now. Might not be the same thing by the time we get to the actual dates these games are played. And what I mean by that is, a couple of years ago, we felt like, murderer's row of quarterbacks the Jets are going to have to face. And Zach Wilson's the quarterback. Oh, no. Right? And the Jets went out there, and they actually were 4-3 without Rodgers after they beat the Eagles and then beat the Giants. And then they fell apart. But the schedule was supposed to be easier that year. The year before with Zach Wilson when they got off to that 6-3 start. The Jaguars weren't supposed to be a good team. The Lions were not supposed to be a good team. Seattle was not supposed to be a good team. These were supposed to be free wins at the end of the year. Right? The Jets had to survive the first half of the season, where they had to go into Green Bay and they had to go into Denver, right? We thought Russell Wilson was going to be good with Nate Hackett years ago. As crazy as that sounds. And they got off to that good start. And then they fell apart. So the well-coached teams, it really doesn't matter who you play. Sure, you want to avoid the Chiefs. You want to avoid the Eagles. You want to avoid the top teams. I get that. But he is right in those comments there from Douzable. End of the year, I don't think Atlanta's that good. I don't think Miami's that good.
I don't think Jacksonville's that good. I don't think New Orleans is that good. I don't think New England's that good. And Buffalo might be resting their starters. So he's not wrong. If you're in position, there's a path to going on a run. Now, maybe some of those teams I mentioned are going to be a lot better than we realize. Maybe Trevor Lawrence finally puts it all together for a full year with Liam Cohen there. Maybe. Maybe Tyler Shuck is somehow actually good for the Saints. Or, New England with Drake May and Mike Vrabel, they truly are this great team. But you don't know. And it's also when you play teams, too. What if Lamar Jackson, God forbid, I'm not rooting for this, but injuries happen. What if he's hurt that day? You play the Ravens. Ravens still might win. They're really good. But you never know until you get to the games. But I do agree from the standpoint, if you just look at the path for the Jets, your first 2 weeks, you're at home. Can you go 1-1? Now, I'd love to win week 1. I'd love to win week 2. But I think we'd all sign for 1-1 right now, especially if you're someone who's a little nervous about the same old Jets karma rearing its ugly head week 1. And Aaron Rodgers, maybe he's no longer elite, but he might be elite that one day. And that would scare me. Hopefully that doesn't happen. But win week 1, and then you play Buffalo well at home the last few years. Rex Ryan's second ever game, you know what he did at home? He beat the Patriots 16-9. Mark Sanchez, second ever game. That was huge. Not going to kiss Belichick's rings. Then you go out there and win. Let's see it. I'm not expecting a win, but I'm not throwing that game as an automatic L, especially if you lose week 1. You don't want to start 0-2. Then your next 2 are on the road. And look, the Asmaniacs, we're going to do all we can in Tampa. We're taking over that town, but we can only do so much. So can you start 1-1, and then can you split Tampa and Miami? Is Dallas an automatic L when you're home? I don't think so. Brian Schottenheimer, first-time coach. Dallas was a mess last year. Denver, look, you're in London. It's a neutral site game. I mean, Denver on paper is better, but let's see. Carolina feels winnable. We'll see the bunch of Asmaniacs at that game in Section 129. So I'm not sitting here telling you they're going to win these games, but if you want to be optimistic, and Douzable believes they're going to go 9-8, these are the kind of games you got to win to give yourself a chance to do that. You got to be at least 3-5. And then you got a shot. So that's what you got to consider with all this. Ultimately, though, it's just talk until we see it. But I think every Jet fan would sign for 9-8 right now, even if it means you're not in the postseason. Because I think that would do wonders for establishing the culture that Glenn is actually implementing. And, but Jake, then you might not be in range to get a quarterback. You trade up for one. That's what Buffalo did. They ended their playoff drought and still traded up for Josh Allen. So that's where I'm at. Before we bring on our guest, Ian from Jet Central is going to join us. We have a bunch of channel memberships that are flying off the shelves. Shout out to Anthony Lagariato. Anthony, I sent out your winning raffle prize yesterday, the Jerry Philbin 1972 Topps card, plus I put in some other Asmaniac goodies, so I appreciate you gifting another 10 spot of channel memberships.
We're the freaking New York Jets, so we're built for this shit.
Anthony is in our Chad Pennington signed helmet raffle for 10. Ladies and gentlemen, we also have a 5 spot from Julian, who enters the raffle for 5. Thank you very much, Mr. Julian.
You know, thinking is overrated.
And then I just saw this. Who better than Mimosa? We found out during the first show yesterday that her brother was the one who got the Asmaniac tattoo on her body. I still can't believe this. More people reached out to me about this than like anything in months Jet related. So thank you again to Jerry Jet. Mimosa, of course, one of the greats. She's in the Pennington raffle for 20. And I'll tell you what, Mimosa, if your brother wins one of these prizes coming up here, I mean, you might have to share it with him, right? We put him in for 20 yesterday. You're in for 20 here. You were in for 20 yesterday. We might have to give Jerry Jet some signed Jet items if he wins Mimosa. I mean, the loyalty to this fan base and to this community to put that on your body, I still cannot freaking believe it. It really is just unbelievable. Shout out to Mimosa and Jerry Jet.
Thank you, Mimosa, for your generosity and tremendous support of the Jake Asman Show.
All right, here's what I'm going to do right now. I'm just going to thank everyone who gifted and everyone who got a membership. Make sure you thank everyone who gifted for you because I don't want to keep our guest waiting any longer. Ladies and gentlemen, joining us right now is a guy who actually lives down in Florida. So maybe he'll be attending some of the Jets games in Florida this season. Jet Central, our guy Ian rejoins the show. Ian, been a long time, man. Thanks for hopping on.
Hey, what's going on, dude? How you doing?
I'm hanging in, man. So first time, long time to get you back on here. I mean, let's kind of just do a general overview. Where are you at with this team? We got a couple weeks until training camp gets underway. Are you optimistic about year one with Glenn? Your thoughts on the way this team looks right now?
Yeah, definitely optimistic, especially with what everybody went through last season, the losing, the finger pointing, the dysfunction, the rumors, the leaks. Last season was just like a complete circus. And, it's not a guarantee that the Jets are going to handle every bit of adversity with, flying colors, but I have a lot more faith in Aaron Glenn, in Darren Muji, in the ability to build a culture, a stronger culture. To me, it kind of feels a little bit old school, similar to like Vrabel in New England, like a same type of identity, just like tough, hard-nosed, physical team that could actually handle, business on the field and off the field.
I'm with you there. As far as Glenn goes, obviously he's got to win games on the field and all that, but from when he took over to where he's at right now, give us your thoughts on the impact you think he's had and just some of the things that have come out about how he's coaching the team and just his style up at the podium as well.
Yeah, dude. I mean, for me at least, again, breath of fresh air. I think for me personally, one of the strongest, or I guess maybe my favorite quality about Glenn so far, even when he took over, to me, it was evident. You can tell that the negatives of this franchise or what happened last season, like he's aware of it. Like it feels like there's a big self-awareness factor with this new regime coming in. And he was hitting on points that I kind of felt like Jets fans, we all witnessed last season. Again, the finger pointing and whatnot. He's aware, he knows of these things that need to be changed. And again, for me right now, I do have that faith in Glenn's ability to build that culture similar to what we saw in Detroit. He's been around some really, really good coaches. He's played the game. He knows this team. I think there's a lot of people in his corner. A lot of people are pulling for him. And yeah, again, man, I'm excited.
Do you like the coaching hires that he's made? Because I think so much of his success could come down to, especially on the offensive side of the ball, Tanner Engstrand, Steve Hayden coaching the offensive line. I have some questions there just because we've never seen it, but your thoughts on some of the hires he's made are on this coaching staff.
Yeah, I don't want to sit here and say it's out of left field or anything, but I think there are some wild cards. It's tough to project what a Tanner Engstrand offense is going to look like year one, because you can have assumptions. Okay, maybe it's going to be like a Harbaugh style of offense. Maybe it's going to be, similar to what we saw in Detroit last season. And then we go and sign Justin Fields, and he's not a similar quarterback to Jared Goff. So, yeah, he's never called plays, obviously, at the NFL level before. Aaron Glenn, first-time head coach. You hit on Hayden. I believe this is his first go-round as an offensive line coach. So there are some questionable isn't the right word, but maybe question marks right now just because it's unknown. For better, for like, it could be positive, it could be negative. We just don't know because we don't have that clarification. But I do feel like one coordinator that a lot of fans are actually excited about is Steve Wilkes, because we do have that maybe understanding of, his backstory. He's called plays before. He's been a head coach before. He's like considered this veteran defensive mind that has been around the block. Chargers, Panthers, Brown, all these different teams that he's been a part of. So I think that gives fans a lot of faith. Like, hey, we have someone who can feel pretty good, feel pretty confident about in just calling a defense, handling the team, and also giving assistance to AG.
You brought up Justin Fields, of course, got to ask you about him. Your thoughts on what we're going to get with him. It's so tough because there's so much unknowns, but what are your personal expectations for Fields this year?
Are you talking stat-wise or just like in general?
It could be stats, could be in general. Like, I guess the better question really with him is, like, what does he have to do in your eyes to be the quarterback beyond just this one season?
I would say, for me, I think the biggest thing is growth. If he looks better in week 4 to week 1 and then week 8 to week 4, like he's progressing as a quarterback. The offense is like ticking up, not necessarily scoring more points every single week, but just the offense looks more fluid. It looks more like a well-oiled machine as the season goes on, no matter who we're really playing. Maybe the ball's coming out quicker. Maybe he's making more plays on the ground, or he's picking up the offense better. Whatever it is, I think for me, growth is the biggest maybe point that I'm looking at. Now, it's not to say, oh, he's throwing 3 picks in week 1 and he's down to 1 touchdown and 2 picks in week 6. Okay, now of course you have an issue, but I think because we signed him to that 2-year deal, because every report and rumbling coming out of train or mini camp so far has been pretty positive, whether it's from reporters, whether it's from player press conferences and whatnot. It seems like all signs are pointing at in that direction, but we've heard this team talk a lot before and not really back it up. So, I think really it's Fields' team, and I am excited about that. It definitely feels like the Jets are saying, hey, Fields, you're our guy. Might only be for 1 or 2 years, but here's your opportunity. You got to go make the most of it.
To me, so much of his success could come down to, are they able to run the football at a high level? Like, obviously, they said they want Fields to play quarterback and give him a chance to really break out, is the term they used. But, I mean, his superpower is his ability to run the ball, and they invested in this offensive line significantly over the last few years. 7th pick in the draft at right tackle, 11th pick in the draft at left tackle. I mean, they got a bunch of first-round guys and high second-round guys on that line. Your thoughts on the offensive line and just the Jets rushing attack? Are you buying into a Breece Hall rebound season? Just your thoughts on how this offense will function with Fields at quarterback.
So, it's kind of funny because you can always take this and make it like a homery type of statement, but on paper, I think it's actually pretty good. Like we have young players, we have former first-round picks, we have guys with, as far as the running back position, youth, talent, guys with a lot of tread on their tires. It seems like Braylon Allen, Isaiah Davis, these guys want the ball. They're not like shying away from it. They're not. It seems like they really want to be a big factor in the offense. Again, you're looking at the offensive line, young guys all over the place. John Simpson was really, really impressive last season, given the contract that he signed. AVT, I think the full expectation there is that he's going to be healthy. Membu, Olu. On paper, this offense is looking pretty good, but I think a lot of people, including myself, said that last year. Like, we should be able to run the ball. Why can't we run the ball? And we were one of the worst teams in football in running in the running game. But I think a big part of that was coaching and stuff like that. But obviously a lot of blame to go around. But it's just not as easy as just looking at names on paper and saying, oh yeah, we're going to be great.
Yeah, to me, there's a lot of potential there, which is great. But we've been burnt so many times with this. We got to see it. And look, to me, I feel the best about this offensive line in at least a decade. I mean, talent-wise, you could make a case it's the most talented 5 guys they'll put out there since probably the Rex days.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 100%. And that's, like you're going back, you're watching the end of the Todd Bowles era, you're watching the Gase era, you're watching young quarterbacks come in and out, guys getting hurt. I mean, Darnold was hurt every single year outside of the mono year where he still missed time. Yeah. Zach was banged up. Aaron Rodgers was banged up. Not saying that, quarterbacks just don't get hurt if you have a good offensive line, but, it's been a pretty bad issue, like not protecting the quarterback, not being able to open up holes in the running game, O-line depth. I think also swapping out like the Hackett, Todd Downing, Keith Carter for some fresh ideas, some new faces, I think, theoretically should help this team.
Hit the like button if you're just tuning in. We're talking with Ian. Of course, he is the host of Jet Central, the YouTube channel that gives you daily Jets news and analysis. Ignore the horns going on behind me. There's something going on in my apartment right now that is out there. Appreciate Ian hopping on with us. Been a while. And I know you're based in, are you Tampa or you're in the Miami area? I always get confused.
So I grew up on the East Coast, but yeah, now I'm in over in St. Pete.
Nice. So I Jets Bucks. I mean, we need you there, man. I mean, we got a bunch of Vi listeners coming down. The Jet fan club in Tampa has been great to work with so far. I mean, we're going to get a ton of Jet fans at that game.
Yeah. So I have a wedding that weekend too.
No way.
Up in Philly, so it's kind of like one or the other. I kind of have to pick, and I'm still not 100% like on which thing I should choose. But yeah, that's kind of the deciding factor.
Ooh, who's the let's break down the wedding then. Like family, is close friend. What is the significance here?
Girlfriend's cousin.
Oh, you got to choose the Jets over the girlfriend's cousin.
Well, it's going to be the first time I've met that side of the family.
Ooh.
So yeah, but then I have another one in August on the other side of the family. So I don't know. We'll see how it plays out.
That's a tough one. Chat, what do you think Ian should do? I have a feeling I know where most people will be leaning, but we will see. Is the wedding actually on Sunday or is it Saturday?
Saturday.
I mean, maybe you could get an early flight out of Philly to Tampa. They do have a lot of flights down to Florida.
Yeah, dude, I'm just a wreck. And like, if I have one of those 6 a.m. flights, I'm just, let alone just flying in to go to a game.
Yeah.
I don't know. But that could also be like the best version of like, wake up energy, coffee, just going to a freaking Jet game.
Just get after it. Love it. AD's getting after it. He gifted 5 channel memberships. AD, I will put you down in the raffle for 5 for those tuning in late. Yesterday was Chad Pennington's birthday, so our Friday daily raffle prize at the end of the show is a signed Chad Pennington helmet. First Jets jersey I ever owned was Chad, and it was awesome to get him on this show back in February.
We're the freaking New York Jets, so we're built for this shit.
AD, thank you. If you got a membership from AD, make sure you thank him. As far as other news with this team, Ian, your thoughts on Sauce Gardner and Garrett Wilson's contracts? Do you think it ultimately gets done before camp, before the start of the season? Just your thoughts on their futures. Do you believe contract extensions will get signed?
Yeah, I mean, they both definitely should be extended. I don't really think there's many questions out there on like, should we bring Garrett Wilson back for the long haul, that type of thing. I understand it. With that said, I understand the Jets, Darren Muji, Glenn saying, hold on a second. Let's maybe not just rush to give them these deals. We haven't worked with them. We haven't practiced with them. We don't know how they operate in meetings. But now, post voluntary OTAs and minicamp, you do kind of have that backstory a little bit, that like inside information. Like, you've got to know these guys a little bit. You've seen how they've worked, with their respective coaches, with their teammates. Are they showing up late? Are they, there's a lot that these coaches, I'm sure, have learned over these past couple of months since working with them. As an outsider looking in, yeah, they got to be re-signed. I think probably like 80% that they get done before the season. But I don't want to just sit here and say, oh, both guys are 100% guaranteed to be signed. I think one of them will definitely be signed. But for both of them, I'll probably say like 75, 80%.
Comments, questions, super chats, cut the line. If you have anything for Ian that you want to know, write it in, and we will pull it up on the screen. I want to give a shout-out to Islip Jet Fan, who super chatted. Hey, Jake, I'm out enjoying my first day of summer vacation. Any way I could get in on the raffle with a super chat. Islip Jet Fan, since you are a great teacher, and I appreciate teachers, I will put you in the raffle for 1 because you've been an Asmaniac channel member for 13 months. Just for you. Man with a Rake says, Jake, when I first started listening, you would slam Hennessy throughout the show. I missed that. That's when I had a lot of optimism for the Jets. Man with a Rake. They've killed me the last 2 years. The Henny will be back when it is earned. I don't know if you get the vibe as well, Ian, just on your channel and interacting with fans, but I think there's always going to be optimists in this fan base. I do get the sense for the first time in a long time, maybe ever, this is kind of the most apathetic at times this fan base has been, and just kind of down, and really needs to see it to believe it, even with some optimism coming in with a former Jet, or great Jet, being the head coach now.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't help that the team has missed the playoffs. Like, I don't even know how many years up to
14.
Yeah, 14. It like that's absolutely brutal. It's funny. I was watching the NBA draft the other night, the first round. I was texting my buddy who's a big Jet fan, but he spent some time in Charlotte. I sent him over a text. I'm like, bro, it's a joke that the Hornets, who are like, they've just been a complete disaster. It's a joke that the Hornets have made the playoffs, more recently than the Jets. It's I know people go back and forth with like the Sabres and the Jets, like who's been more disappointing, but I think we're really just like collectively as a group looking for someone to kind of believe in. Like, it just feels like the Jets are just too big of a job for anyone that takes over. Gase, Todd Bowles, ultimately, Saleh, Jeff Ulbrich wasn't even in the conversation. It's like a viable option. So until we actually get that belief or see that proof, we're kind of, I don't know. I don't want to say we're turning, our attention away from the team or anything like that. Like, everyone still loves the New York Jets desperately, but it's a situation where it's just like, okay, you guys talk and talk and talk about how good you guys are every single year, every single offseason, Hard Knocks, this and that, winning the offseason, winning headlines, winning storylines, but you guys always disappoint. So until we actually see whether it's wins, whether it's maybe competitive losses, like early on in the Lions era with Dan Campbell first taking over. I think once we actually see the product on the field, then maybe things will start to turn. Hopefully for the better here.
I think getting off to a good start is important. Like, obviously, I'm not expecting them to go 3-0 like what Rex did when he first took over, but I think Rex getting off to that good start, right? He had the press conference right away. I'm not kissing Belichick's rings, and then they beat Brady and Belichick in that first game in September. I think that carried a lot of weight, it got the fan base to really believe in Rex early on. And I think getting off to a good start for Glenn is important too, especially just given how bad the last couple of years in particular have been, because you actually had high expectations, and they were rightfully deserved expectations. This team a couple of years ago had a young, talented roster that won 7 games without quarterback play, and they added Aaron Rodgers, and it all obviously fell apart and couldn't have gone any worse. So, they don't need to necessarily be, 8-0 at their bye. I think we'd sign for that, but can they be a scrappy 3-5, 4-4, and give yourself a chance to have some like meaningful games down the stretch? Like, that's what I'd like to see in year one.
Definitely. I mean, like, you take a look at, like, again, when Dan Campbell took over for Detroit, and why I'm bringing them up is because it kind of felt like a similar situation with like the ownership, with the losing, going from Bob Quinn, Matt Patricia to Dan Campbell. Kind of felt similar to like Joe Douglas and Robert Saleh going to Aaron Glenn here, like a former player, big time personality, someone coming in the building and just kind of grabbing the bull by the horns. This is my team now. The Lions lost a lot of games early on, like a lot of games early. What was it? 3 or 4 wins that first season with Campbell.
It was. And this Jets team has more talent than that Lions team did by a lot.
Yeah, but the fans never really gave up on those Lions teams. Like, there was this kind of sense of belief because the Lions were pushing really, really good teams to, force them. Okay, they're, for example, like the Buffalo Bills or the Green Bay Packers, like they have to win on like a 2-minute drive. They have to come back in the fourth quarter to beat this Lions team. So although the record sucked, there was still this kind of sense of, hey, we got a good coaching staff that is getting the most out of these players. It's just going to take a year or two to, another free agency wave, another draft class being injected into the roster. Once we get our talent up to the rest of the league, now all of a sudden we have this coaching staff that is just dragging them forward as opposed to, ball and chain dragging them down.
Comments, questions, super chats. They cut the line, ladies and gentlemen. Shout out to Leanie in North Carolina. She says, thank you, Jake, and all the Asmaniacs for your prayers for Mr. Leanie. He started driving and should be back to work soon. This community is the best. Leanie, that's awesome. It was so great to see your post yesterday in our Discord. So shout out to you and your husband. Glad he is on the road to recovery. Shooter wrote in, holy bleep, Jet Central, my favorite Jet content creator before I found Jake, but I support and watch both. And as always, go Jets. Yes, everyone, I would say subscribe to Ian, but he's got 41,000 subs, so you probably already do. But if you don't, make sure you guys subscribe to Jet Central. Ian's been at this a long time. When was the first year that you started putting out like daily videos on this team?
Yeah, that started, I don't know, I want to say like 3 years ago. It was in the Saleh era.
Really? I thought you were pre-Saleh putting out stuff.
Yeah, I was putting out stuff pre-Saleh, but not on like
not daily.
Yeah, not daily.
That's interesting. Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people, you were probably like the first Jet YouTuber or Jet YouTube content that people consumed.
Yeah, I mean, I try to get videos out when I can, but just
the car videos, man. You're quick.
I love doing the car videos. Yeah, it's cool.
Daz with some advice for you. He says, go to the game. We all need we need all the support we could get, and the Eagles just won a Super Bowl. Oh, and F6 rings. He's going to a wedding, Daz. He's not going to an Eagles game.
Yeah. I'm not going to an Eagles game. Absolutely not. That
I think he'd choose the Jet game over the Eagles game. He has a wedding in Philadelphia. That is what he's dealing with. I think some people in the chat were saying, "Hey, it's family, do that." But there's a lot of Jet fans saying, "Man, guy lives in St. Petersburg. We need him in Tampa, man." The Jets, unfortunately, the Jets don't go to Tampa that often. Yeah,
and that honestly should be a really fun game. Obviously, I think the Bucs right now on paper are better than the Jets. But I think that's going to be one of those games where, if we can be competitive, I mean, winning aside, if we can be competitive in that game, like I could see the reaction like post game from a lot of Jets fans, like, hey, Tampa continues to make the playoffs. Tampa has a quarterback. Tampa's a proven team with a lot of, good quality players on it. If we go down to Tampa for our first road trip of the season and we're competitive, we're hanging in, and we're kind of proving a point, like forcing Tampa to beat us, not beating ourselves, I think there could be a lot of optimism after that week, despite the result.
Super chat from Ricky. We're just talking about it. Ian, will you be joining us in Tampa? You're going to get this question a lot from people.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope so. Kind of depend, like I said before, deciding between two things.
Yep. Dano says, ha ha, Nelson voice. I just cut the line. We assume you two are Jets content creation Rushmore. Can you each pick one of the other two? This is an impossible question, Dano, because I've said this for years. For a franchise that has been as bad as the Jets have, the amount of quality content creators on YouTube in particular that talk about this team and do it well. It's amazing, man. I don't want to leave anyone out, whether it's Richie, Greenbean, Ryan, Matt, Tyson, who I know you do a weekly show with, Ian, that I love listening to. Kevin on that channel too, Let's Talk Jets. There's so many. Jeremy, Nick Shine. There's too many to name, man. It's hard. And it's a testament once again to this fan base that deserves so much more than what we all have been given. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, there's so many Jet content creators, and the Jets aren't like over these past
they don't deserve
14 years. Like they've just not been that great of a football team. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's just a testament to Jets fans and kind of the loyalty and really, not to be frank with it, but just how awesome the fan base is.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't want to forget anyone, and I did. I forgot Buffalo Jet fan. I forgot Dylan Terraman, who was on with us yesterday. It just, you got great podcasters, the Badland guys, Will. It just, man, there's Boy Green. There's so many. It's amazing. It's a testament once again to how great this fan base is, and like a 9-8 season is gonna hit like crack. Like we're not even asking for the Super Bowl, just a winning season, a fun year like that. The bar is so low for us to just be able to have a fun football season.
Yeah. I mean, the reality is that the Jets get 6 wins. That's an improvement off of last season. So, whether we like it or we hate it, that's the real world.
Unbelievable. All right, phone line's open if you want in on the conversation with Ian. A couple of rapid fire things I want your take on. A lot of debate on Malachi Corley's roster spot. Do you believe he is on the week 1 roster?
I do. I just can't see how you would cut a second-year player, like completely cut them out of the equation. I get it. Muji didn't draft him. Glenn didn't, draft him or anything like that. But still, he's a cheap player. He's on a rookie deal and he's a mid-round pick. So you have control if Corley pops in this new system, because with Hackett at the helm, with the former offensive coaching staff, you never know what went wrong. Is it fair to just give Corley the blame and just say, hey, you're the problem? Like, I think just that, having that offensive staff a year ago, it opens up the conversation for everyone. Like, hey, everyone in this building, everyone in this organization has room to improve based off of what we saw last season from a coaching standpoint. So I'm not really at the point of giving up on him. Now, if he has another quiet season, okay, we can maybe start talking about it. But in off the field stuff aside, because I don't know what's going on in meeting rooms and everything like that, but just on the field, I just don't see how we could cut Corley. I think if that was the case, he'd be scooped up by another team. And I think we'd be in one of those situations where we see one of these former Jets with room to grow, with potential, wind up on a new squad and they start performing and everything like that. Because he was liked, coming out of the NFL draft. It wasn't like a Robbie Anderson situation where he was undrafted, and it took years for him to kind of make a name for himself with the Jets. And then he hits the open market. Like, he's a 3rd-round pick. So I think there'd be some suitors for him.
100%. And I guess the real question with him is there were a lot of stuff about his maturity and whether or not he knew the offense. How quickly could he pick it up? Because he missed some time during the spring with an undisclosed injury. They don't got to tell you what it is at this point till we get to training camp here. So 1, is he out there? 2, can he make some plays and really earn a spot? Because while he was a 3rd-round pick, this regime didn't take him. So if they have guys that they think are better, they're not ultimately going to be loyal to him. And the other question with Corley that I find fascinating, it's a brand new coaching staff, but the one holdover at the positional coaches is the wide receiver coach, Sean Jefferson, was on Saleh's staff, and he was retained by Aaron Glenn, the only guy that was retained. So is that good or bad for Corley that his receivers coach is still with the Jet organization under Aaron Glenn?
Well, I know a big topic of conversation too was Corley's ability to play special teams. Like that was, I mean, it's like a question with that entire former regime. I know Denzel Mims, there was that question. Like, can you play special teams? If you're not a starter, you got to be able to play special teams because you can't just take a roster spot and do nothing on Sundays, assuming that there's no injuries. But yeah, I just don't really see the benefit. Look, if this position group was great, if it was top 10 in football, and you have a bunch of guys like kind of fighting for, reps and everything, okay, I would understand it. It would make more sense to me. But because this receiving core right now, I would say is probably in the bottom half of football, I'm not going to cut someone who I still feel like has room to grow.
Hit the like button if you're just tuning in. We're talking with Jet Central. Make sure you guys, you probably already do, subscribe to his YouTube channel. Training camp just a couple weeks away, so we are waiting for that to get underway. And one of the things about training camp that I'm personally excited to see is Glenn made it clear, they're going to do a lot more live periods. This team's going to tackle over the summer. Now, the rules are different than what they once were, but tackling was such a problem for this defense a year ago. I like the fact that, hey, they're going to be doing it in the summer. And also, if you want to be a run-first team and you're going to ground and pound, you got to be a tough physical team. The only way you do that is to build that callus up in the summer. So I like the old school approach that we're seemingly going to get from Glenn. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I love the old school approach. And I also love defensive football. So, I kind of love the identity. I love the culture that Glenn and co are trying to establish and bring to this Jets squad. I mean, the Lions desperately needed it, and they actually turned it around. They're one of the best teams in football in just a couple of years. So I'm not saying that the Jets are going to be making the playoffs next season or, winning the AFC East, but, I think it starts from the ground up, and the guys that we have in place, the foundation feels pretty solid.
Ladies and gentlemen, phone lines are open. I just pinned the Gusbuster hotline. We'll do some calls here with Ian. And first up today is one of the OGs. Ladies and gentlemen, we say hello to the great Kyle Clifton.
What's up, gentlemen? How are you?
Are you inside?
I just walked outside.
Oh, false alarm, folks. I don't know. Good luck scoring that one, Boomtown. Is Kyle Clifton inside or outside?
I like to keep the chat honest. You guys were talking about what would make a successful season for Justin Fields, what make us want to retain him, right? I think that it's really comes down to is it like 2-to-1 turnover ratio or better, right? Is he going for 18, 19 touchdowns and maybe eight or nine total turnovers? Is he throwing for 3,000 yards? Is he completing 65% of his passes? Is he running for 800 yards? If that's happening and we're winning and we're at the playoffs or close to it, then you maybe look at him being part of the future. That's kind of where I sit with Fields. It's funny, Jake. I actually have a signed mini helmet from Chad, but it's so old that it's faded. It's almost like Gatorade green now at this point, and you can barely see Chad's signature anymore. I used to have it in like a lucite case, but back when I was a single man and I was moving around and stuff, I didn't take the care of it that I'm going to be taking care of, like the Maynard piece or the Namath piece or any of the other stuff I've won on the show recently. So it's just one of those things that, when you actually get established and you have an office you can set up, make sure you take care of those pieces of memorabilia. They're going to really round out your office or your family room or whatever.
I love it. Kyle, great call as always, man.
I'll talk to you guys.
And to his point, with Fields, it's so tough because I don't know if it's always like stats with him because he's such a unique player because of his rushing ability. I feel like it's one of those things where like our eyes will tell us beyond just the stats if he should be the quarterback next year. And I think he'd have to have a pretty big time season for us to be like, yep, he's definitely our guy. And we're not even going to consider drafting a quarterback because it's a way better quarterback class next year. And you could like Fields and still recognize that, hey, to get to the next step, we're going to have to take someone. And it's not the worst thing in the world of that guy. Just like we're talking about Chad Pennington today because I'm doing the giveaway at the end of the show. Chad sat behind Vinny Testaverde for several years. Now, it's not like it was then where you could sit a first-round quarterback for 3 years, but can you sit a quarterback for a year or at least go into next year where Fields is the guy and then a rookie behind him? That's certainly a scenario that could play itself out too.
Yeah, dude. And a big positive is Fields' contract. 2 years, 40 mil, 30 mil guaranteed. So if he does work and he looks great, I mean, I agree with you. The stats can definitely be misleading, whether it's with Fields or any player in football. But if the Jets are winning a bunch of games and it seems like he has the locker room and it seems like he has the belief from coaches and players really buy in, but the stats aren't all that great, I'm not really going to be too concerned with, getting caught up in like the fantasy side of it. And, oh, he's not statistically good, so he's not a good quarterback. And the Jets are winning in spite of Fields' performances. I think that's kind of too far down the rabbit hole, and we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. But if it doesn't go well, the guaranteed money, I believe, is already over with. And that's it. He didn't sign a $90 million deal. The Jets aren't in a position like ATL with Kirk Cousins, where it was this 4-year deal with a ton of money guaranteed, and now they're kind of on the hook, and they already have Penix on the roster, so you're paying all this money to a backup. Watson, Cleveland, same kind of deal. The Jets are it's a very like 1 foot in, 1 foot out. If it does, if he goes well, hey, great, he's under contract for next season at a really cheap price, and he could, potentially develop a quarterback if the Jets feel like that's necessary, or doesn't. Okay, it is what it is. It's 1 year left, and not much money tied to him.
Comments, questions, super chats, they always cut the line around here. Ladies and gentlemen, our next caller is also based in the Tampa area, and he will be going to the Jets-Bucks game with all of us this year.
I'm Ricky, New York, and I love to smoke. Florida State, I really love Florida State. Hey, easy tongues, you know it's from Florida State. At any rate, I call into smoking debate. Florida State, I really love Florida State. At any rate, thanks for taking my call, Jake.
Ricky.
Hey, what's happening, Jake? Ian, how you doing?
Hey, what's going on, man? How you doing?
Good. And I'm glad to not be the only one that loves Florida State on the show for a change. Now you have two of us, Jake. So at any rate, you know what? Something that earlier this week, the Jets put out a video. And it was the interviews with Andre Sisco and Josh Reynolds. And when I was listening to that interview with Sisco, he was talking about like one of the first questions is they asked him about growing up a Jets fan. And I loved his answer. Like his answer was like, they were in the playoffs all the time. And even in the regular season, they were one of the better teams. They always had a winning record. And it's like, you know what? Why can this guy that we just signed have that attitude when he hears the name New York Jets, but we as fans can't? Like, I know in recent years, there's been a lot of bad, but I still think of this team that way. I still think of this team, like back in the good old days for me, like when I started being a fan, that Parcells, Groh, Edwards, like, that whole time when we were in the playoffs all the time. And one thing that I think about with like those Herm Edwards teams, we were one of the least penalized teams back then. Like we didn't beat ourselves all the time. And that just kind of illustrates what a difference, good leadership can make. And, thinking about it, it's like, top to bottom, our roster wasn't nearly as good then as what it is now, on paper anyway. So why is there such a difference? And, I was thinking about it, and it's like you got a brand new Lambo and you're driving down the road, but the alignment is so bad, like you can't steer it. You can barely keep it on the road. Like you'll never know what it's truly capable of doing, because anytime you try to find out, you lose control. And that's what this team was like under Saleh. And I'm glad we finally have a leader that's going to steer us in the right direction and get this thing turned around and do things the way they're supposed to be done. And I've said it a bunch of times. I'll say it again. I cannot wait for this season.
Ricky, from day one, wanted Aaron Glenn. You got your guy, Ricky, and now we hope he is the guy to lead the Jets to glory.
You get the fuck out.
We can only hope. We can only hope. Let's do one more call with Ian here, and then we will thank him for his time, and we'll put some pressure on him to make sure that he tells his girlfriend, hey, man, I know it's a wedding, but I got to be in Tampa for the Jets and the Bucks. Hey, but first, shout out to Corey. He gifted a channel membership. He's in our raffle for one. Thank you very much, Corey. Ian, this next call could be wild, so prepare yourself accordingly because this guy calls in from a nudist colony.
Well, there's a feller they call Charleston Jets rude, 'cause he calls the show nude, never wears a shirt. And some folks, they don't think he's got pants on either. It's a gosh darn nudist camp. Let's hear it for that Charleston Jets rube and see if he has any Jets points today.
Hey guys, how are ya?
Wow, love
in the
it.
pool, baby. Hey Ian, nice to see you, man. We got the goats of the jet streaming world, man. I love seeing you two together. That's great. So I think the Jets can be 3-5 before the break and 6-3 after the break, and squeak into the playoffs. Just wanted to get your opinion on that, like your record, and if we will make the playoffs. And then what do you think the percentage odds of Justin Fields being the guy is, Ian?
Yeah, dude. First of all, it looks super nice wherever you're at. Looks super nice.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, so if we could be 3-5 at the break, I would take that as a win. I mean, there's a lot of people that think the Jets are going to have 3 wins on the season. So, dude, for me, it's a great question too. By the way, I think, yeah, for me, when it's all said and done, I got the Jets at 6-7 wins.
Okay. What do you think the odds of us retaining Fields, beyond the contract he signed, like just the percentage chance?
Beyond, so 2027 and forward.
Yeah, but beyond where we have him signed now, do you think we'll give him another extension? What are the percentage chance of that? Because right now I'm thinking I'm probably more optimistic than others, but I'm thinking it's like a 40-60, 50-50. But I know a lot of people are thinking 10-20%.
Yeah, I think I'm probably with you 40-50%. It's just so tough because we have a lot of unknowns. We don't know how Aaron Glenn is as a head coach. We don't know how he responds from adversity. We don't know Tanner Engstrand's play calling tendencies. We don't know how he game plans. We don't know how this offense is going to look. We don't know what's really taking place at the wide receiver position after Garrett Wilson. Will Garrett Wilson be re-signed at some point this offseason? There's a lot of big question marks. And it's just tough to project. Like you can throw out a quarterback like Jared Goff or, Penix in Atlanta or so, like any other quarterback you could throw out there. And it's just like, okay, like the roadmap is a little bit more clear, but with Justin Fields, it's just like, wow, there's a lot of haziness around the situation. It would be easier it'd be easier if we had an idea on maybe like how Tanner Engstrand's offense looks. Is Justin Fields a perfect fit for it? Or is he not so great of a fit, like, round peg in a square hole type of thing? We just don't have that answer until we see it on the field. I really like that question.
Yeah, I loved Angstrom's answer when they said, well, with Goff, you didn't have a running quarterback. So how is that going to affect?
The nudist colony is striking again.
You get the fuck out.
His phone, when it gets in the heat after a couple minutes, happens every time.
Oh, I thought water got in it.
That could maybe be the case as well. We never quite know. Ian, I appreciate you doing this, man. Long time coming. You've been on before, but it's been a little bit. Our schedules don't typically align, so glad we can make this happen today. And continued success with your channel, man. You've been the OG at Jet content, man. So hopefully you finally get that winning season that all of us deserve.
Yeah, thanks, man. Glad to be here. And yeah, dude, I appreciate it. I'll catch you later.
You got it, ladies and gentlemen. Jet Central with us there. Good stuff from him. Appreciate Ian, of course, hopping on, and he does a good job. Him and Tyson Roush do a show together on Tyson's Let's Talk Jets channel every week. Let's see. Gator says Mount Rushmore of Jets content creators: Jake, Bobby Midnight, Gorman, Big Cho Show. Well, let's be clear, Gator. The Big Cho Show featuring Shania Twain is about history of sport, not the Jets. So I don't know if that counts. So we got to keep that in mind. But I mean, we know Big Cho is going to do wonderful things with that program. Ladies and gentlemen, Jay Quest announces to the world that he's at the doctor's about to get his fingernail removed. Jay Quest, good luck. That sounds horrible. Speaking of listeners of ours who know pain, ladies and gentlemen, let's say hello to Purple Belt Mike.
Purple Belt Mike, he loves the dark night. He's got a green pool and he jumps right in. Maybe someday he'll get a brown belt, but for now he's just that Purple Belt Mike. Purple Belt Mike, it might be purple, but he can still kick your dirty ass.
Let's go Islanders, baby.
There we go.
I hope they make the right decision tonight.
Schaefer, and then trade up for
Higgins.
the kid from Long Island as well. Get them both.
Yeah, that's what I want. That's exactly what I want. And speaking of the Islanders, I met the surgeon today. He's very, very good. You can tell he's seasoned. He's done it a long time.
So you are encouraged about your procedure with him.
Yeah, I mean he's done ACL surgeries thousands and like tens of thousands of times. So that's pretty good. It's his specialty, even though he's the orthopedic for the Islanders.
Mm-hmm.
ACL surgery is his specialty. So
very cool.
Yep, I got to get PT for about a month, and then I can get surgery done because I need the range of motion to be better and like the strength in the thigh and stuff.
I think you're going to rebound from this and be stronger.
Yeah, I asked him, and he said, yeah, it should be stronger than it was before.
I think your career is just getting underway, Mike. You still got a lot of years ahead of you.
Yeah. Who knows? We'll see what happens. But I had some offensive predictions, Jet stuff, other than that. So I do think that Garrett Wilson is going to break all of Brandon Marshall's records for the single season. I think touchdowns. He actually already has the catch one, but it's in 17 games. So he'll break it in 16. And yards, I got him at 1,500 yards.
Let's see. So get Brandon Marshall, 2015 stats with the Jets, 109 receptions, 1,502 yards. That's an average of 93.9 yards per game. Remember, 16-game season, 14 receiving touchdowns. He had the most catches, most yards, most receiving touchdowns. I mean, he had the best year of any Jet receiver ever.
Yeah, and I have Garrett breaking them, but also doing it in the 16 games instead of 17.
Do you think Garrett Wilson's going to have 110 catches, 1,503 yards, and 15 touchdowns?
By week 16, yep.
I hope you're right.
That's what I'm actually going to take Garrett Wilson in the first round of the fantasy draft. I don't care if whoever's in here is in the league. I'm taking him in the first round.
What pick?
It's happening.
You have the pick yet?
I don't have the pick yet. In my other league, I pick 11th, so I'm going to take him there.
Yeah,
because he'll be there. But in whatever Asmaniac league, he's going in like the second. He's going in like the third round in mock drafts.
Well, here's the thing, PBM.
I don't see it.
I have to bring this up. Last year, Dre predicted Garrett Wilson would score 28 touchdowns. And that didn't go so well for the Jets. So I don't like the idea of another Asmaniac calling in. And while it's not quite 28 touchdowns you're predicting, you are still predicting the greatest single season in Jets receiving history. So that is a pretty lofty bar that you're setting here.
That's how high I am on Garrett, but it's also realistic. 28
I think you're just high from the painkillers.
28 touchdowns was unrealistic, and we all knew it. But 15 is realistic. It's bold.
Gator doesn't understand PKM, purple knee Mike.
Yeah, it's purple knee. I'm gonna be PKM until I'm at least. So 6 weeks after surgery. So at some time in September, I'll be kind of like less than hobbling around. And then by October, I should be kind of like normal without any real weight bearing stuff other than walking. So until I'm able to at least do that, I'm going to be PKM for the next 2-3 months.
Physical therapy, Mike. PTM.
I like that. PTM. Yeah, I'm going to do that. Ace, that's good. PTM for the time being. I like it.
Well, Mike, let's go Islanders. And I'm
go
glad
Isles.
the surgery meeting went well.
Yep.
About Mike, he loves the Dark Knight. He's got a green pool and he jumps right in. Maybe someday he'll get a brown belt, but for now he's just that purple belt Mike. Purple belt Mike. It might be purple, but he can still kick your dirty ass.
I want to give a shout out to Cisco, who in the chat during the show was asking for the link to the merch store, and I saw you just purchased an Asmaniac hoodie. So thank you, Cisco. Appreciate your support. JakeAsman.com/shop if you want to buy some merch. We got shorts and tank tops in there for the summer. We got all the hats, the bucket hats, tumblers for your iced coffee, water bottles. We got it all. So appreciate everyone who's bought merch over the last year. We're approaching the 1-year anniversary of the merch store, which is crazy. So thanks to everyone who supports us there. I also have some breaking Asmaniac news I would like to share with the audience. Effective immediately, we now have a new game you could play when one of our beloved callers calls into the show.
Breaking sports news on the Jake Asman Show.
Ladies and gentlemen, Charles Gorman bingo. Now, this might be tough to see here because StreamYard makes it impossible for me to show you guys the bingo card for Gorman. But every time Charles calls in now, you all get to play along. If he says, how's your family? It's funny. That's what she said. Mentions his father. That's interesting. Burps. Swears. Oh, God. Ate fast food today. Good to know. Anyways, you have your free spot. If he plugs his channel. If he gets angry. Talks about food. Chews food. Mentions his mother. Gets lost reading the chat. Says, stop it. Says, no problem. Says, I didn't know that. Makes a comic book reference. Ate at his parents that day. And I'll think about it. Ladies and gentlemen, Boomtown has done it again with a game that is going to change the way Gorman calls occur. So, you see it on your screen there. Take a picture. Print it out. And play along, baby. Charles Gorman Bingo is officially live.
Excuse me.
I'll have Boomtown post the full bingo card in the Discord for Discord users to be able to get the PDF file up close. And if we missed anything obvious, write it in, and I'm sure Boomtown will take it under advisement. Unbelievable. Now, Gorman is not on the line right now. So I wanted to share it with the audience before he maybe sees it, so he doesn't even know. Now, I see people saying, what about farts? He's never actually ripped on this show. He does it on other people's shows. He at least respects my show, I guess. Or it just hasn't happened yet. So we don't have that. I mean, we could really just make it free space or Charles Gorman rips.
Oh.
All right, open phone lines for anyone who wants in on the conversation. Appreciate all of you. If you tuned in late, we just got done with our conversation with Jet Central. At the end of the show, we're going to give away a signed Chad Pennington helmet. Chad celebrated his 49th birthday yesterday. So in honor of that, daily raffle prize, a CP10 autographed Jet helmet that I'll send to you if you win. So keep that in mind. Also, keep in mind that Monday will be our latest Asmaniac raffle for the weekly prizes. So multiple chances all week long on the show to win a bunch of prizes. Doing a lot of giveaways because I'll keep saying it. Anyone who's watching a daily Jet show in June, you are a special breed of diehard Jet fan. and Asmaniac. Like Jerry Jett, who tattooed the logo on his damn body. Can't even believe it, but he did it. What a legend. Absolute legend. On that note, here's what we're going to do. Take a quick break, and when we come back, we rapid fire through your calls. Lots still going on with this show, so keep it right here. Jake Asman with you on a Football Friday.
Rodgers.
Yeah.
I want to apologize for yesterday. I was trying to show off the name on my jersey, but my desk chair doesn't swivel. So I got up and I showed off my butt.
When was the last time you took a shower?
I don't know. Thursday evening.
You haven't showered since Thursday?
Yeah,
you probably reek. Oh.
He stinks.
Yeah.
Oh, you gotta be disgusting.
Constantly play down to competition. How the hell did he lose to Zach Wilson when Zach Wilson was fucking trash? Let me finish, okay? Are you...
How was the dinner the other night? Did you see Charles there? He had to leave early because his mom wanted him home. Do you have any other words also you want to ask me?
What was your question to me?
Do you remember Sam and Darnold? He was good, but then I think he retired because he got old.
He's on the Vikings.
I wish I can get Charles's recipe for soup.
Me too.
Yeah, but anyway, Mourners, Knoble is alive. He's just not starting yet.
Where is
I don't know what happened. I don't know.
Lane, thanks for the time.
Right now, what I need to have happen, Charles, I need you to put on the Gorman tank. It's Friday. The vibes are high. Put on the Charles Gorman-inspired Jake Asman Show tank top for the people.
I will maybe next week.
What? Put it on. Put it on. Oh, my God, he's doing it.
Football is back, bitches.
Give us one more spin around, all right?
Give us the full modeling.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for the ass. Yeah, we appreciate it.
Charles, would you like to respond to Gator? He says you look like you combed your hair with a pack of firecrackers. How come you didn't congratulate him?
I did on the baby. Yeah, he had a.
You didn't say this though.
Hey, congrats on the sex.
Congrats on the sex. Oh my God.
Yeah, how do you think babies are made?
You know, it's funny. True story. When I was a kid, I actually thought I came from a stork. I shit you not, man. Like, you know, when you have all these dreams and shit, it's like, you know, here you go, here's your baby. That's what I thought happened to me when I was a kid.
So to be clear, you were not acquired via stork, right?
Yes, I was biologically made by my mother and father.
Dennis Gorman?
And my mother, Roseanne.
Shout out to them. They did a great job with you, Charles.
Was it sweet and passionate, or are you unaware of those details?
Why do I need to know those details?
I don't know. Maybe it would have. I mean, you wanted to know whether it was stork or baby making, so I don't know. Just figured you'd want intricate levels of detail.
My parents made love twice. They
Stop. What's up, Jake?
You're embarrassing yourself.
Oh, shit.
Stop.
Let me ask you something, ass man. What do you think of Zach Wilson?
He stinks.
Thank God he's gone. He never scores no fucking touchdown.
He stinks.
The second pick for number 2 destroyed the Jets' cause.
He stinks.
Asmaniacs kick so much ass, but some of them, they kill the vibe and make the show a freaking mess. So Jake reminds them.
He stinks.
When Allen calls, he speaks the hate. That cartoon douche, he trashed the Jets. Let Bobby know, cause he's the man who will revive him.
He stinks.
Another call comes from the car. Distorted voice and no Wi-Fi. That's JJ with crap ass phone just cut off all the calls.
He stinks.
Is that gas station pizza? Come on, Gary.
He stinks.
Chicken don't go with pasta. Let's get out of here, Jake.
The guy is terrible. Enough.
We're back, baby. Hit the like button. Hey, if you're coming to Tampa, I have officially made the link public for anyone who's trying to still book a room, a hotel room at Hotel Tampa Riverwalk. Click the link in the description. Share it with any Jet fans you know making the trip. Discounted rooms under the Jake Asman Asmaniac room block at Hotel Tampa Riverwalk, right in downtown Tampa, 10 minutes from the stadium, close to the airport. It's where we're going to be staying. So shout out to everyone who's already booked a spot. Lock in your room if you want to be a part of the group that is going to be down in Tampa. The Tampa Bay Asmaniac takeover, baby. We got a super chat here. Icelip Jet fan. He says, Jake Asman, Jet Central. Mount Rushmore of hosts I listen to. We'll take it. We will certainly take it. Icelip Jet fan. Thank you very much. Go Islanders as well, Icelip. Big day for the franchise. Met Icelip Jet fan at a game this past year. Ladies and gentlemen, we've all been waiting to hear from this guy. I don't even know if he's there, though. It's tough to tell. The attic is dark. So let's head to the global studio headquarters right now.
Right now, we're getting some gabagool. If you really want some gabagool, you got to come get the gabagool. Catch you later.
Bad news. My sister-in-law's mom, she's in the hospital and under a ventilator right now. This is not a good
sorry.
time.
That's sorry to hear that, Beast.
Pretty bad. And we're waiting for final results, and we're going to see.
Where's the hospital?
It's all the way out in Indiana. It's in Portage somewhere. It's St. Mary's. I never thought this would have happened, but well, it's first. Sometimes sometimes whatever works for the best. Sometimes we all gotta go sometimes in life. But if her mom pulls through, which I'm hoping. If she survives, then we're gonna be good. We'll be all good. But things don't turn out the way they want, then we're just gonna have to go a different direction for now. Not gonna be good, but we have to do what's best. That's the way the world is. Everything has its, ups and downs, checks and balances. That's life. We all go. It's just the way the world is. But right now, I don't see 9-8. Not from my sight.
What do you say?
What I see is a 13-4 season. And the reason why I say 13-4, Buffalo is going to be very tough to knock around. Okay, they're going to come to our house. Sure, we're going to punch them in the nuts a couple of times. When we go to their house, They're going to kick us right in the gonads. Patriots, I don't see no threat from them. They have no franchise, no team, no balls, and they wear pink panties.
Okay.
Yes. It's fact, 100%, all proof.
Okay.
It's because they wear panties because look at their team. Weak, simple-minded, no brains, no date, and in the words of certain people, they're not qualified. And for 6 rings, instead of $100, let's make it $200. He has to pay $200 to get in. $200. Make it a fair call.
$200.
$200.
Wow.
You gotta earn. It's called. You gotta earn your fair share.
Wait, did you say $20?
I said $200.
$200.
That's right. He wants to earn his keep. $200.
So a one-time payment of $200, and he's earned his keep in your eyes.
And he's gonna have to learn the hard way. It's called you could bag up all that pink panties, Patriot shit. You can sell it down to the nearest Salvation Army. Yeah, or if not, you can wipe your ass with it. Use it as toilet paper, but the cheapy kind, not Dollar Tree. Since he doesn't look like the Costco type or nor Sam's Club or anything else I go to, he's not qualified unless he's a Dollar Tree toilet paper.
I see.
That's where it's gonna go for now. But
now Tom Mace makes a good point. $200 will get you a lot of pink panties.
Hey, people have their own opinion. That's the way the world works.
Oh yeah.
Let's just think of it this way. Let's try and enjoy what we got in life. And next week, next week is 4th of July, baby. You know what that means? Get your burgers ready, get your hot dogs ready. I'm gonna be on that grill, and oh yeah, baby, we gonna kick it up, baby. We're gonna kick this shit's neck doggy style.
Hey, Beast, can you give us an idea on what it looks like with you on the grill? You got a spatula, flip some patties?
My patties, here's the thing. I got Costco ground beef, and it's perfect. 90-10 is the sexiest way to go. And to form your patties, we're going to do them the Gordon style way, the Gordon Ramsay way. I want them sexy, I want them perfect, and I want them nice and firm and fresh. Fresh. That means seasoned nicely into the freezer for a whole day. And then after that whole day, prepare them onto the grill. But I want my grill pipe being hot. And I'm talking H-O-T, baby. Hot, hot, hot. Oh, and this year, we're adding zucchini and a fresh eggplant. You like eggplant, don't you, Jake?
Oh, absolutely. It's only if you make it, Beast.
Hey, as long as it's sliced and it's seasoned properly, I've got my steel spatula. Solid steel, baby. A steel is the best way to go. You know why steel is the best #1 answer. And if you don't like it, don't come to my bank. Go to another bank. Because my bank takes good interest rates. Until then, and until next time, as they say on Batman, until next time, same bat time, same bat channel.
Hey, Beast, you mentioned panties. How do you feel about these manly Asmaniac boxer briefs?
Hey, as long as they look sexy, that's fine. As long as they're in white, black, blue, red.
I'm gonna send you a pair of
green,
these.
and I'm talking military green.
Hey, Beast, would you wear these on the show if we sent it to you?
If these are 100% boxers, and if
they're boxer briefs, they're man's man underwear.
I'll tell you what. You got a deal, kid.
You got a deal. All right, ladies and gentlemen.
You got a deal. Hey, and in the courtroom, as they all say, you just basically got the best deal up to date. Until next time, same bat time, same bat channel.
Breaker 666, he's the man who would kick your ass, and then he's gobbled.
We covered a lot of ground in that call. Very excited to send Beast some manly boxer briefs. Only a man will wear that. Man's man. JR3 is a man's man. JR3 just gifted a 10 spot of channel memberships. Chad Pennington signed helmet at the end of the show.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Appreciate you, JR. I actually might be able to tell people who got the memberships here because YouTube's loading again. Tyler, Chuck W, Brett, Greg Fenn, JJ, Cool Kev, Rider on the Storm, G-Star, Rico the Pup, and Wavy Aviation, all receiving channel memberships from JR. JR, appreciate the generosity. Good luck in the raffle. Arsenal Jets wrote in that Gorman should not be allowed on this show until he gets a job. I mean, that'd be cutting off our nose to spite our face. Whether he's on the show or not, it doesn't sound like he's getting the job anytime soon. So at least let us enjoy the greatness of a Gorman call. And plus, I do think the pressure we put on him as a community holds him accountable to at least maybe send an application once every 5 days. Like yesterday, we bullied him on the air to apply for Costco. Sorry, tough love. Nick Shine, Coach Shine. That's the guy that is the only hope we really have of getting Gorman a job. He just gifted 5 channel memberships. Nick Shine is in the Asmaniac raffle for 5.
There you go. Don't move.
Oh, shit. You're not kidding.
Here are the 5 people who received a channel membership from the great Nick Shine. Michael Bartlow, Perry D, Lee Van, Shurzy29, Kevin Walterd, and Nick Shine's favorite, Rob from Glenhead. Those two always see eye to eye. Ladies and gentlemen, Phantom Green and White gifting a membership. He is in the raffle for 1. Let's go. Phantom, your membership went to listener Corey. So, Corey, congrats. You're now a channel member. Appreciate all the support. Folks, it is time to head to the Gusbuster hotline. This man is live from vacation. Barbarossa's next. Hello, Barbarossa.
Oh, shit, Jake, can you hear me? Is everything all right? Can y'all hear me?
I hear you.
All right, awesome. Yeah, I just wanted to say what up to all the Asmaniacs. I love you guys. I'm enjoying beer right now. We're on vacation. Props to all the teachers and stuff, but I just wanted to say hello to everybody. All right, I
Where on
love you guys. I don't
vacation
know
are
if y'all
you?
can hear me, but I love you guys. Take care.
Barbarossa, and there's a delay. Where on vacation are you, Barbarossa? Cheers. Have a great vacation. Rich says, smash the like. Amen. Gator says he tried to get food in New Jersey and they were out. Gorman does eat a lot of food. John Williams says, Jake, do you have a black pair of boxer briefs? Beast might shart in the white ones. Look, that could be arranged. I personally think the white ones are more manly for Beast, and we know he's a man's man. But we could ask him. Beast, your thoughts? White or black, Beast?
I'm doing some reviews, please. Give me a second, please. Give me a second. I was just doing some review homework. And, trying to keep up here. How to play the game. Hey, calm down. Calm down. Okay. Turn the noise down. Turn the noise down. We're not here to fart and pee here. If you want to go pee, use the bathroom. Yes. Thank you, King Lowski. Muchas gracias, el señor Lowski. Gracias. We're going to be just fine. We're going to be fine. Don't worry. JETS, you know the drill, baby boys. Sack them up, lack them up, lock them up, turn it up, and down.
Thank you, Beast. Great job. Right inside as always. More of your calls right now. Ladies and gentlemen, this guy just got back from New York. He made no attempt whatsoever to even see me. Sad. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time to say hello to a man who believes in women's voting rights. Psych.
Pointing, Gary Box, I'm pointing at you, Gary Box, I point at you, Gary Box, I'm pointing, Box, I'm pointing, Gary Box, point at you, I point.
We added the pictures with me and you and me and Nick Shine at the end. I like that. It's good.
We did some research. We had our research department look into the fact that even in pictures with non-fighters, you do the point.
I point with everybody. I took a point with a picture with Gio from Luigi's Pizza in Park Slope. You know that place?
I do, yes.
I took it with him. I pointed at him too. That was so good. I haven't had Luigi's in years. That was phenomenal. I went there before I went to the Barclays. First, you could reach out to me. I told you I was going to be there. You were well aware. You have my contact.
I forgot. You never called into the show that week when you were here.
I've been out of the loop. I've been busy. I haven't had time to call into the show.
I'm saying. It slipped my mind. I had no idea. And then by the time I realized, you were already gone.
I left. Yeah, I went home yesterday after night at 1 o'clock flight yesterday, 1:30 flight yesterday. Decker came with me too. Decker, she was supposed to go to the lake house in Atlanta, but that fell through or something. And so Decker was with me all week.
Wow. I miss Decker too. That's a shame.
Yeah. We'll be back. When the Mets play the Cubs in the playoffs, if the Mets make the playoffs, me and my wife are going to go to Citi Fields. So we'll be back in October. Tentatively. If the Mets stop losing, which I guess they've stopped losing for now. We'll be back in October. We'll meet up then. First off, Gorman didn't get the job. I thought the Burger King job. I thought that was done. I've been out of the loop for a week. What did I miss? He didn't get the job.
They just never called him. Apparently, there was a different Burger King in the area that closed, and a lot of the staff there had the rights to the jobs at the place he was looking at. That's what Gorman said. I have not spoken to Coach Shine about that. I don't know if that's true.
Can we get Coach Shine on? Can we? Well, Has he discussed? I haven't seen his show either. I've been out of the loop. I feel like I've missed a week of the drama.
Nick
drama.
was in the chat. So Nick Shine, if you're out there, could you confirm in the comment section if that is true? What happened with the Gorman Burger King job? But yes, and then Charles, he's doing everything but trying to get a job. The other day he called in and I said, "What did you do today?" And he listed eating and playing video games. And then he said, and then I'm like, "Why aren't you applying for jobs?" He's like, "I'm going to do it after this." I go, "So you felt the need to call into a Jet YouTube show over trying to get a job?" He's like, "Yeah, I had things I wanted to say."
In June on a Jet show, yeah, it could wait till tomorrow, Charles. I mean, it's not like we're playing in the Super Bowl next week. It could wait. But all right, like Charles is fine. Charles is a big boy. Charles can handle himself. If he wants to call in instead of looking for a job, that's his right.
Are you going to play Gorman Bingo?
I am into this. How do I get a bingo card again? I'm actually into this.
Well, you got to print it. I will. I'm going to put this in the Discord, or Boomtown can help me with that. We'll get it in there, and we'll give people a chance to download the file and have a Gorman bingo card printed out. Or you could even do it like if you open the PDF. They let you like make marks on the PDF and like the MacBook editing.
Yeah.
So you could just play along during his calls.
This is who came up with this? This was
Boomtown. It's in the Discord now, so check it out.
This is phenomenal. This is one of the best ideas I've seen. This is peak an off-season Jake Asman idea. This is phenomenal. This is really good. Get angry is a little subjective, but I guess we all know what that is, right?
We know what that looks like.
Yeah,
it's like the Supreme Court when they ruled on porn. I don't know how to describe it, but I know when I see it.
We know angry Charles when we see it. And look, I always call in to defend Charles. I've been called a Charles Gorman simp on this show by somebody. And Charles Gorman never really has a nice word to say about me. Did you ever notice that? I call him to defend him I'm calling him to defend him this time. He doesn't want to look for a job. Don't look for a job. He's a big boy. He can take care of himself. And Charles Gorman never has a nice word to say about me, ever. And I call him to defend him more than anybody.
I have not noticed that, but I'll keep my eyes open to it.
Oh, I've noticed it.
Let's see. Some suggestions. Cincy Matt wants to know where's. I'll keep that in mind. That's actually a good Charlesism.
Yeah.
That's not a bad one. Excuse me, he's not on there. I feel like he goes. Well, he usually says excuse me after he farts.
So yeah.
Man.
He's got a little issue in the table manners department. But he's a great guy.
Hold on, Gary. We might get the answer to some of the questions that we all need to know. Ladies and gentlemen, we say hello right now to everyone's favorite job coach, Nick Shine. Hello, Nick.
What's up, guys? Good morning. Good afternoon. How are you?
Nick, what is the latest with Gorman's Burger King job?
So I stopped there last week, and like you mentioned, I think I came on and told you that another Burger King closed down. The person who owns them owns both of them. And what he wants is for her to take on that staff first. She's fighting for it, saying, I got someone who's only going to be a couple hours a week, trying to explain his situation and waiting for the approval, but she's getting some kickback.
Okay.
So that's kind of where we're at. I'll stop in there today. I should have time. I got to pass there to go to work. So
I got a question. Typically, where there's a Burger King, there's a McDonald's. Is there a McDonald's near that Burger King?
There is. I didn't have a connection there. I had the connection at Burger King. That's why I stopped there. But we can keep the search going for him.
Does he want the search to keep going for him? He's got to want. We can't want Charles to get a job more than Charles wants it for himself.
I will say this: the Saturday that we went and we were doing on your show the whole day, when the search was going on, they said they would reach out to him Monday. He did take the initiative and go there Monday on his own. So if he had his brother bring him, so he did take some initiative. So I mean, that kind of leans towards a yes, right?
I just don't want him to get discouraged by this not working out, and now he's just like, it's never going to happen for me. Like he's got to treat finding a full-time job like it is his full-time job.
Yes, agreed. So
Yeah.
I'll stop
Looking
in
for
today.
work is
There's
work
no
without pay,
traction.
you know.
We'll I'm on vacation next week, and I got a day that's free. So if I have to, we'll do round 2 of Coach and MVP Charles going around together.
Unbelievable. Well, Nick Shine, Coach, great work. Appreciate all you've done for Charles Gorman. Hopefully it pays off.
We're trying. Hopefully it does. And can I ask Gary one question real quick?
Yeah.
Did the Nets purposely just try to draft like all unknown players with their 4 first-round picks? What the hell were they doing?
I have no idea. I had a worst case scenario in my brain, and this was 10 times worse than that. I can't believe they did this. They drafted 3 non-shooting point guards in one draft.
Worse, they drafted 3 Caucasians.
They drafted 3 Caucasians who can't shoot.
I can make that joke, everyone.
They can't even shoot. Like, what good are these white boys if they can't shoot?
I
was gonna have like line changes in hockey. You just bring out another line with a non-shooting point guard.
The second player that they drafted, ESPN had his weaknesses, and it was shooting, defending, dribbling. Like everything you need to do in basketball were his weaknesses.
Traore was viewed as a top 5 guy a year ago, but he's not really any good at basketball. But he's an athlete. He's quick. He's probably the quickest guy in the draft. So they took him on upside. Igor is slow and not athletic and can't shoot. This guy is athletic and can't shoot. So it's like, all right, if you just combine them and teach them to shoot, maybe they can be a good player combined. I don't know what they did. They could have gotten Igor at 19. I don't understand what they did. It just doesn't make any. And I don't even.
How do you not trade out if it just reset for next year? How do you take 5 guys in the first round in basketball?
Why do you even want that? Why do you want 5 rookies on one team? Like no one had that on their bingo card. They were going to sit and pick 5 times.
Yeah.
You could have traded up multiple times. Like I didn't want to pick more than 3 times. It's like, okay, we got 22. We're definitely going to move up now. We're going to move in for a second lottery pick. We're going to trade with San Antonio. We're probably going to try to trade for Charlotte because Charlotte was taking Con Knipple. We all knew that. They could have got Knipple later. We could have moved in at 4, gave them 19 and 22 and 8 and drafted Ace. But instead, we just sat there and then took one non-shooting point guard after another. They all can't even play. Like, what does Ben Saraf do now? You picked him in the first round. Does he even get it on the court? Is he in the G League? I don't. It's supposed to be a developmental year where you play your rookies, but you can't play 3 point guards.
Would you say the Nets organization doesn't know what they're doing?
I would say that's roughly correct. I would say Sean Marks is the worst GM in all of sports.
They don't know what the they're doing. Do you understand that?
Oh, that's great. That's great that made the show. I think my day. Can you tell me about John Idzik and Mike McCagnon as general managers, Jake? Any?
They don't know what the they're doing. Do you understand that?
I'm going to lead you into that every time I'm on.
Better than Marks. They did take 2 safeties in a row, 1 and 2. I guess this is kind of the equivalent of that. But I couldn't believe what they were doing. I'm sitting here in disbelief. Like he's really going to sit here and pick 5 times and pick 3 guys who all fill the same space, non-shooting point guards. It's like it's 2025. You kind of need your point guard to shoot. You can have one guy, but you can't even play them together. You can't play Saraf and Demon together because neither one of them can shoot.
Yeah, it's going to be.
I don't even know what you do.
Would you allow women to vote if it meant the Nets would get a redo on their draft picks?
Do I get to make the picks?
Sure.
Possibly.
Okay.
Forever or just one election?
If I can make that trade.
Every election going forward in Gary's dictator universe here.
Do you want to hear a crazy stat? Sean Marks is the 4th longest tenured GM in basketball behind Popovich, Riley, and Presti. After those 3 guys, it's Marks, who's horrible. Those guys win championships and build contenders every year. Sean Marks takes a liquid dump all over himself and the franchise every single year, but he's still there. He's just there for life. He's going to get a goal, watch him retire when he's 65, and that's it. That's our GM.
Also, Leany didn't like the possibly.
I don't want to get into my view on women's suffrage. If my opinion changes, you'll be the first one I let know, okay?
Hey, Gary, before we let you run, can you give me one of these?
pointing. Gary Fox, I'm pointing at you. Gary Fox, I point at you. Gary Fox, I'm pointing. I'm pointing. I'm pointing. I'm pointing. Gary Fox, point at you. I point.
What a call. Welcome back to Texas, Gary. Nick Shine, Coach Shine, giving us the latest on Gorman as well. Incredibly valuable information. Okay. Last chance to enter the raffle. Home stretch of the show. I'm putting in all the raffle names together. Multitasking here. We're going to give away a signed Chad Pennington helmet at the end of the program. I have a fun giveaway for the second show today. I think Jet fans around my age will really love the second show today. So tune in. We got Nick Fario with us at 4 p.m. Eastern. Ladies and gentlemen, before we head out of here, let's obviously check back in with the man, the myth, the legend himself, Clint Beastwood.
Would you silence, or should I do one of these? Is anyone gonna go get their fireworks? Because I know I'm sure I am, and I'm gonna make sure that there's gonna be a lot of pew pew pew. Oh, and one other thing, if we get M80s, here's what you're supposed to do. Watch it closely and hit an example. Hit the deck. That's how you're supposed to do it. Hit the deck. Because if you don't hit the deck, your hearing goes off, and you'll be going, I lost hearing. It's because you were too close to the M80s. Very dangerous thing not to do. But if you get those big balls, you can go, poo, poo, poo. We're going to have a great 4th of July, baby. And hey, I love this country, but you know what? To all those crybabies out there, hey, you little protesters, I'll tell you right here, we're gonna get you some jobs, and we're gonna get you off your ass and start getting back to work. So you want to make money?
What about Charles Gorman, Beast? Will he get a job?
Oh, I'll pick his ass up. I'll just give him the old Clint Eastwood trick going. All right, drop your cocks and grab your socks. All right, off your ass and on your feet. Get up. This is the Beast Society in 5 minutes.
John wants to know what's louder, one of your farts or 4th of July fireworks?
It depends. It depends on how much dynamite they put in there, because you don't know how big those fireworks are going to be. Because I'll give you a hint. M80s, they can take it. Ha ha ha! Very funny. Like that one. That was ugly sounding. But M80s do have a loud boom to it. But if you put those big other headphones on, like I'll give you a hint. If you got those mic'd headphones, make sure you cover your ears and just yell, hit the deck, and just cover your ears cover your ears nice as much as you can, and then and also proper agreements and arrangements. That was a big belt right there. Yeah, that's right. Now let's go to that raffle. Take it away, Jake. It's all yours. Let's go to the raffle.
Hey, hold on 1 second. Cincy Matt says one unemployed man giving job advice to another unemployed man is pure beast.
Hey, what you see is what you get. You don't like it? Tough luck to you. Hey, that's called tough love. Learn to accept it. Now, let's go to the raffle and enjoy the day.
The Gator says, will Beast firing off any bag of dicks fireworks?
Okay. Enough of that. I
Nick
know
Sean
who
says, Beast knows the ugly sounding farts well, aka the stain makers.
Hey, there are plenty of stain maker companies around. All you gotta do is look around. Go to Menards. Menards got them all. Menards got them all the time there. Hell, that's where I go to go get peanuts. They're cheap. All you gotta do is get them for $7. You're better off paying $7 over $10 from a PetSmart. Actually, learn to spend money wisely. Think wisely. Use your head. Remember, I know one guy said it in the movie Army of Darkness. Remember, shop smart. Shop S-Smart. You got it. Now let's go to that raffle and get a winner. Go get the winners. What in the hell is this?
Have some candy.
Beast, you know it's a joke, right?
Beast, I'll eat it with you.
Throw the bag of dicks out the window.
Throw the bag of dicks.
Get back to work. Come on. Free those dicks. Let them fly.
Oh, my God.
Hey!
Sacagawea.
You let that dick fly. You feel better?
Ooh.
Is that the first time your hand was on a bunch of dicks?
Oh, no. I'm going to go have a sausage sandwich and enjoy the rest of my day.
What a day that was, huh? Unreal. Nate, I just saw your super chat here. Gary, be smarter than Bobby and talk about your Nothing But Net show at 1 p.m. today. Must watch Gary Meltdown with other Net fans. All 7 Net fans will congregate on Gary's YouTube channel and bitch about the Nets' odd draft where they took 5 players. It's not like they had high picks in the top 10. They had picks in the teens and 20s. Man. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a wild show. And we will cap it off with someone winning a signed Chad Pennington helmet. It is raffle time.
It's time to announce the winners of the weekly Asmaniac Raffle. Let's spin the Jake Asman Show Wheel of Champions and find out which Asmaniac is winning an epic prize.
Okay. Wheel should be on the screen. There it is. But wait. I just realized I did not fully paste all the names yet. Hold on. ChatGPT has the names here. I just need to copy and paste them. You guys will see how the sausage is made in real time. Okay. Names. Now let's shuffle the deck. There it is. Okay. Now what I need is dramatic raffle music. Boom. Everyone is officially entered. Black Gypsy, I did not miss yours. I did put you in. I don't think I shouted you out, though, so I appreciate you gifting a channel membership. I did include you, though, I promise. Thank you to everyone who called, everyone who gifted, super chatted. Good luck to all. If you win, please, if I don't already have your info, message me either on the Discord or email me AsmanJake@gmail.com, the address where to send the signed Chad Pennington helmet to. On that note, let's find out who's going to win it. Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, the winner of the signed CP helmet is Julian Manfredo. Julian, congratulations. Well deserved. You've won raffle prizes in the past, and I'm glad you won one today. Longtime Jet fan, Julian is, I think, from Long Island as well. So you probably grew up watching Jet practices at Hofstra and all that good stuff. So congrats to Julian. Appreciate you. And appreciate everyone who entered. Don't worry if you didn't win. We're going to do another daily raffle at the end of the show in the afternoon today. And you have a chance to win any of the weekly prizes, which, once again, just a reminder, on Monday, signed Aaron Glenn jersey, signed Justin Fields jersey, and a signed Sauce Gardner jersey are the top 3 prizes in this week's Asmaniac raffle. Fun show. Again, thank you to all who make it what it is. Thank you to the calls, the super chatters, the gifters. Not the grifters, but the gifters. And, of course, thank you to our guest today, Ian from Jet Central. On that note, I'm out of here. Talk to you guys in a few hours. Jets. You know the drill. Jets.
Weed's more likable than you fucking old cunt. Fuck yourself, you piece of shit. Fuck yourself. Fuck you.
Well, that escalated quickly. Jesus. Come on, gentlemen.
25.
In the year of 25.
25.
Is he ever gonna stay alive?
25.
I'm better, Beast. How you doing?
Hey, you know we sang you that Whopper song. Hey, Jake, let's give him that Whopper song. Whopper at BK. We're on the move at BK. Have it your way. You rule.
You rule, yeah.
Hey, I hope you get that job at Burger King, my friend. That's class right there. That was a class act. But hey,
I think the second one Excuse me.